My name is Marcus James Peterson, and I am 52 years old. On the afternoon of March 22nd, 2024, I experienced death. One moment, I was joyfully walking to my truck with my friend Dave, laughing about the potluck dinner, and the next, I was struck with an intense pain in my chest, as if a knife had pierced through it. I collapsed onto my knees on the asphalt. My eyes locked onto Dave's face hovering above me, his lips moving, but I could not hear anything. Then, everything faded to black. Before that day, I led a normal life as the manager of a hardware store in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I had been married to my wife, Linda, for 28 years, and we raised 3 children, 2 in college and 1 still in high school. Every Sunday for the past 15 years, I could be found in the 3rd row at First Baptist, faithfully occupying the same seat. I taught Sunday school to middle school students and led a men's prayer group every Saturday. I believed I was well versed in faith and understood the purpose of the church. However, I was mistaken in many aspects. In an instant, the pain vanished, as if someone had flipped a switch. I found myself floating above my body, looking down at my still form sprawled on the parking lot, which may sound insane, but it felt so real. Dave was administering CPR, and I could see a throng of people rushing out of the church. I believe I heard someone crying. Perhaps it was Janet, Pastor Rick's wife. The cross on the church illuminated brilliantly against the darkening sky, but surprisingly, I felt no fear. In fact, I was taken aback by my own sense of calm. In that moment, instead of terror, I experienced a peculiar urge, almost like something was beckoning me upward. It wasn't spoken. It was a call, a pull. The parking lot below dwindled in size until it disappeared from view. Suddenly, I was moving through a space that did not conform to the ordinary. It felt neither like a tunnel nor a physical space. I observed colors that do not exist in our world, accompanied by sounds that were not sounds, but rather feelings that I could hear. I remember thinking to myself, this is it. I am actually dying. Then I came to a stop in a realm that could not be defined as a physical location. It was filled with light that was warm yet soft, never blinding to the eyes. It felt like being enveloped in an essence akin to pure love, if love could be perceived in such tangible forms. And there he was, Jesus. I recognized him before he uttered a word, not because he resembled any of the portraits in our church hallway, which he did not. Instead, he appeared as a figure formed from light that maintained its luminous nature. His eyes shimmered with all colors, and when he gazed upon me, I felt exposed, as if he could see every action, every thought, and every secret I had ever harbored. Yet, he smiled at me. Marcus, he called, merely saying my name. But the tone made me fall to my knees, not out of obligation, but out of my own desire. Tears streamed down to my face as I realized that all my years of Sunday school lessons, sermons, and Bible studies had not equipped me for the overwhelming experience of being in his presence. Lord, I whispered, the only words I could muster. He reached out and placed his hand on my shoulder, a wave of warmth spreading throughout me, washing away every burden, guilt, and shame I had ever carried, melting away like ice under sunlight. Stand up, Marcus. I have something to show you. As I rose, the surroundings shifted. We hovered above the expanse of America. Below us lay the entire nation, a mosaic of tiny lights scattered like stars. Each light is a church, Jesus explained, his voice saturated with a sadness that made my heart tremble. I observed some of the lights beginning to dim, one after another, reminiscent of Christmas lights gradually extinguishing. Lord, what is happening to them? I inquired. Come see, he urged. Instantly, we found ourselves within a magnificent church, an expensive building equipped with a state-of-the-art sound system and plush seats. Hundreds of people were present, hands raised, singing wholeheartedly. It seemed idyllic. However, Jesus shook his head, prompting me to examine it more closely. Look deeper, Marcus. Use your spiritual eyes. Upon closer inspection, I gasped. The structure appeared unchanged, yet shadows of darkness loomed among the congregation. Although the praise music played, many hearts were cold and desolate, merely going through the motions. They have forgotten me, Jesus mourned. They gather in my name, but their hearts pursue other things. A new scene unfolded. In another church, I witnessed an argument erupting. I could see anger surging like red flames, jumping from person to person. They clashed over politics, money, and leadership roles. The cross adorning the wall seemed inconsequential against the backdrop of their rage. They wear my name like a banner, Jesus remarked, yet they do not embody my love. In a different church, the pastor delivered a sermon, but his words were devoid of Jesus. Instead, he spoke of prosperity and wealth, presenting God as a vending machine for blessings. The congregation's eyes beamed with greed rather than reverence. They have transformed me into their golden calf, Jesus declared. We traversed from church to church. Some were filled with people yet absent of his presence, while others preached rules and judgment while ignoring mercy. Some chased miracles and experiences, neglecting his word. Others were too consumed with events and programs to engage in actual prayer. This is impending, Jesus warning. A great falling away. Churches may retain their buildings, their programs, and their Sunday services, yet many will lose sight of me. But Lord, I protested, surely not all of them. His smile returned and warmth filled his gaze. No, not all. The vision shifted again, revealing smaller congregations. Some gathered in homes, others in derelict buildings, and some in underserved neighborhoods. But these churches radiated differently. Their light was pure, white, and powerful. I beheld people on their knees genuinely praying, not merely reciting words, but fervently crying out to God with every ounce of their being. I watched them share food with homeless families, visit prisons, care for orphans, and comfort the dying. I observed pastors who lived humbly, knew their congregations personally, and engaged in hours of prayer before stepping onto the pulpit. I saw young individuals setting aside their phones to seek God's face. I witnessed marriages being restored, addictions being freed, not through programs, but through the formidable power of the Holy Spirit. These are my true churches, Jesus declared. They may appear small and weak, but they carry my presence. They will be the lights that do not extinguish amid the approaching darkness. Lord, what about my church? I began to ask. Your church stands at a crossroads, Marcus, he replied. Every church in America faces this decision. Will they pursue my presence or simply use my name? Will they hunger for truth or for comfort? Will they bear their cross or seek their crown? Jesus turned to me, his gaze fierce and penetrating. This is why I am sending you back, Marcus, to warn them, to tell them. Tell them what, Lord? Tell them I am returning, but I am not coming for buildings, programs, or perfect worship teams. I come for hearts that genuinely love me. Tell them time is running shorter than they realize. Playing church will not suffice when the shaking comes. What shaking, Lord? I asked. In an instant, he revealed it to me. I foresaw economic turmoil striking America, churches losing their tax-exempt statuses, and renowned pastors succumbing to scandals. I witnessed congregations fracturing over matters irrelevant to the gospel and the government imposing greater restrictions on preaching the truth. I envisioned people leaving churches en masse, having realized they had never genuinely encountered me there. But those who know me, Jesus assured me, those who sincerely seek my face, who pray in secret, who love unconditionally, and who stand firm in my word when the world deems them foolish, will shine like stars even in the darkness. They will be my witnesses through the most challenging times America has endured. Lord, I do not want to go back. Let me remain here with you. He embraced me closely. I had never encountered such love. It felt like being enveloped by peace itself. I understand, Marcus, but your purpose is not complete. Linda needs you. Your children need you. And my churches must hear what you have witnessed. Some will listen, many will not. But your message must be conveyed nonetheless. What if they do not believe me? Encourage them to test it against my word, he responded. Urge them to spend time alone with me and ask me themselves. Encourage them to evaluate their churches honestly. Are they building my kingdom or their own? Are they making disciples or merely church attendees? Do they love as I love, or do they merely speak of love? Jesus revealed more to me. I observed prayer meetings that began with just 5 individuals, but blossomed into hundreds. I saw teenagers abandoning drugs in exchange for Bibles. Churches sold their extravagant buildings to feed the hungry. I witnessed racial barriers dissolving as believers chose love over division. However, I also glimpsed darker realities. Well-known Christian leaders exposed for secret sins, and churches evolving into entertainment venues where his name was rarely invoked. I saw the prosperity gospel proliferating like a disease, misleading people into believing that faith was synonymous with wealth rather than taking up their cross. The trials are commencing now, Jesus informed me. Every church and every believer must decide, comfort or cross, popularity or truth, my way or the world's way, disguised in religious garments. He shared specific insights about the American church, a fixation on numbers, and emphasis on attendance rather than hearts truly transformed. Churches boasted about Sunday attendance, but neglected the question of how many were genuinely following him throughout the week. The celebrity pastor phenomenon had emerged, elevating men to idol status while followers clung to personalities instead of Jesus. I observed these pedestals collapsing and countless individuals losing faith because their foundation was built on men instead of him. I recognized the political entanglements with churches so absorbed in politics that they struggled to differentiate between God's kingdom and earthly power. They championed the laws while disregarding hearts and took sides in human disputes, forgetting their role as ambassadors for heaven. I witnessed the addiction to entertainment, where services strove to provide fleeting comfort without challenging individuals to change. Fog machines and dazzling light displays replaced the presence of the Holy Spirit. Messages that tantalized ears scarcely impacted hearts. These churches will not withstand the oncoming storm, Jesus declared. They are constructed on sand. Then he looked at me with an intensity that felt as if he were addressing everyone who would eventually hear my story. Convey this, Marcus. I have not changed. I am still searching for those who will worship me in spirit and in truth. I still respond when 2 or 3 gather in my name, not mere gatherings in a building. I hear the prayers uttered in solitude, and I honor faith as small as a mustard seed. Inform them to return to their first love, he continued. Remind them of the reasons they initially came to me, not for blessings, success, or self-satisfaction, but because they were lost, and I found them, because they were dying, and I gave them life. Urge pastors to cease building their own kingdoms and focus on establishing mine instead. Tell them to stop tallying offerings and instead account for souls genuinely saved. Encourage them to leave their desks in favor of the streets where the hurting reside. Urge church members to stop shopping for congregations as if selecting a coffee shop. Plant themselves, serve, give, love those who are difficult, remain committed when times are tough. This is how true growth occurs. Remind young people that following me is not about locating the perfect church with the trendiest worship band or the most charismatic pastor. It is about denying oneself daily and choosing me above all that the world has to offer. Before sending me back, Jesus revealed one final vision. I saw small groups of believers assembled in homes, praying with fervent desperation. I caught glimpses of them engaging with his word as though their lives depended on it, and they did. I observed them caring for one another in ways that earned the world's attention. These are the churches that will endure, he proclaimed, not because they are flawless, but because they belong to me. They may lack impressive buildings or well-structured programs, but they possess my presence, and that is sufficient. Lord, how will people distinguish between the genuine churches and those merely pretending? By their fruits, Marcus, he replied. Do they produce individuals who resemble me? Do they love the unlovable? Do they share truth even at a personal cost? Do they pray as if they truly believe I am listening? Do they study my word as though it nourishes their souls rather than merely completing a religious obligation? Most importantly, is my presence among them, not the emotional music that elicits tears, nor eloquent sermons that provoke thought, but my real, life-transforming presence that alters hearts, shatters chains, and makes everything new. He touched my forehead and I felt knowledge pouring into me, insights I needed to hold on to, wisdom I had to convey. Share this with them, Marcus. I am not angry with my churches. I am deeply grieved, like a husband whose wife has lost the ability to love him. I am calling them back. But the window for a simple return is narrowing. Soon, coming back to me will demand everything. Yet those who are willing to pay that price will discover I am worth it all. I do not wish to leave, I repeated. The thought of returning to the world after experiencing such a divine embrace felt akin to asking someone to abandon paradise for a garbage heap. I understand, he said gently, but Marcus, people need to hear this. Your story will awaken some, confirming what others have sensed within their spirits. For those who reject it, their refusal is also part of my plan. Everyone must choose. He embraced me once more, and in that moment, I felt strength and courage flow into me for the journey ahead. When you feel weak, remember this moment, he urged. Recall that I am more real than anything in that transient world. Every sacrifice made for me holds worth. Remember that I am returning, and when I do, those who remain faithful will shine like the sun. The light around me began to dim, and I felt as though I were moving backward, away from him. Wait, I called out. When? When will you return? Tell them to live prepared, he instructed. Tell them to live as if I could return today, but to work as though I would not be back for many years. The signs are surrounding them if they possess the vision to see. However, most importantly, remind them to truly know me. Not just know about me, but to know me. Suddenly, pain shot through my chest. Someone was applying pressure on me. I felt electricity coursing through my body, and I gasped, taking in air that scorched my lungs. We got him back. Lights flashed all around me, so bright they were blinding. There were cries of relief, and voices clamored simultaneously. I was on something that was moving, a gurney. The unmistakable smell of a hospital engulfed me, a mixed odor of disinfectant and the underlying fear that hangs over every medical facility. Sir, can you hear me? Sir, squeeze my hand if you can hear me. I squeezed weakly. Everything hurt. My body felt as if it weighed 1,000 pounds. Yet, more tormenting than the physical agony was the profound spiritual ache within me. I had been in the presence of Jesus, experiencing perfect love and perfect peace. And now, I was thrust back into this fractured world filled with fluorescent lights and beeping machines. Tears streamed down my face, not due to physical pain, but from the overwhelming sensation of loss. It is all right, sir. You are going to be fine. You suffered a massive heart attack, but you are stable now, a doctor said as he leaned over me. He was young and appeared exhausted. Mr. Peterson, you were clinically dead for 23 minutes. To be honest, we cannot comprehend how you are even alive, much less aware and responsive. You should have suffered significant brain damage. 23 minutes. It felt like an eternity or mere seconds. Time did not operate in the same way there. Then, Linda's face appeared above me, tears streaming down her cheeks. Marcus, oh, thank God. Thank God. I yearned to tell her, to share the miraculous vision I had experienced. I saw him, Linda. I saw Jesus. But all I could manage was to squeeze her hand tightly and weep. In the days that followed, as my strength returned, I began recounting the events of that day to everyone, the nurses, the doctors, even the chaplain who paid a visit. While some would listen politely, I could sense doubt clouding their eyes. Others became uncomfortable and shifted the topic. Yet a select few leaned closer in, some with tears brimming in their eyes. So, here's my question for you. Which church do you belong to? Is it the one that is perishing or the one that is coming to life? The one that engages in religious rituals or the one diligently pursuing his face? Do not rush your answer. Take the time to truly examine your heart. When was the last time you spent an hour alone with God? When did you last fast? When did you last love someone who could not repay you? When did you last experience his true presence? Not merely an emotional response to music. If you find yourself unsatisfied with your answers, that is a good sign. Such discontentment is the Holy Spirit drawing you closer. Utilize it. Act upon it. Do not simply feel remorse and revert to your previous state of mind. Make a change today. Begin with prayer, authentic prayer. Get on your face and cry out to God. Share with Him that you are weary of merely playing church, that you yearn for the genuine experience. Commit to Him that you are prepared to pay whatever price is necessary. Next, immerse yourself in His Word. Not just reading a verse a day to check it off your list, but genuinely delve deep. Read entire books of the Bible. Ask Him to speak to you through the Scriptures. He will. Seek out individuals who are hungry for God. You may need to search diligently, as such people might not be found within the larger congregations, but locate them. You will need one another for what is to come. Finally, begin loving others through action, not just words. Feed someone who is hungry. Visit someone who is lonely. Extend forgiveness to those who have wronged you. Give until it truly costs you something. This is how you begin to reflect Jesus. I am uncertain how much time I have left. My heart may fail any day, but I am unafraid, for I know where I am destined. I have been there, and it is more magnificent than you can possibly imagine. But until that day arrives, I have work to accomplish. We all do. The harvest is ripe, but the laborers are few. The night is approaching when no one can work, yet for now daylight still remains. There is still time. Jesus is calling His church back to Himself, not back to religion, not back to regulations or programs, but to a relationship and a love that transcends all. Some churches will heed that call. They will become the beacons amidst the impending darkness. Others will continue their games until their doors close and their lights extinguish. Which path will you take? The choice you make will not only influence your life, it will echo into eternity. Choose wisely. Choose Jesus. Opt for Him over comfort, popularity, security, over everything. For I have encountered Him, I have been cradled by Him, and I assure you with all my heart and soul, He is worth everything. The American church is about to face its greatest trial. Only those founded upon the rock will endure, and only those who truly know Him will prevail. Only those who love Him more than life itself will conquer. For those who do, the glory that awaits will surpass every sacrifice. The joy that is in store will erase every tear. The crown awaiting them will render every cross seemingly light. Jesus cautioned me about the future of American churches due to His love for us. He longs for us to be ready to return to Him while there is still time. This is your warning. This is your invitation. This is your moment to choose. What will you do with it?